Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Coffee with Carl. My name is Carl Zellner. I'm one of the attorneys with Anderson Business Advisors, and today I would like to cover inside versus outside liability. This is a basic concept we teach in our asset protection class, but it's important to understand, number one, is why we use LLCs, corporations, and other entities, and number two, the type of protections you get from those. Anonymity is one of the items we teach as well, but it's an awesome benefit, but ultimately it is not the end-all be-all, and that's why we use business entities. If we could just get by with anonymity, then we would just use anonymity, but the problem becomes is if for some reason you are sued, then you have to have that actual asset protection behind whatever you're doing. Otherwise, you're, for lack of a better term, your butt's kind of hanging out in the wind there. So, inside versus outside liability. When we talk about inside liability, we're talking about some issue or liability causing issue that may happen inside the box. And when I say box, I mean your corporation or LLC. If something happens inside the box, we want to make sure it doesn't get outside of the box to your other investments, say your other investment properties, or to your personal assets. Okay, this is key. This is basically when we talk about asset protection, we talk about separation between business and personal assets. It can also refer to separation between business assets. Now, normally when I speak about inside versus outside liability, I speak about creating what we call, what I term, a bulletproof box. So if you'll use your imagination a bit here with me, if I create a bulletproof box and I'm standing outside of that box and I shoot a gun at the box, does the bullet get in? Of course not. No, it's a bulletproof box, so the bullet doesn't get in. Now, that's outside liability. So a good example of that would be I get into a car accident, and the person I got in an accident with wants to sue the lightning out of me. So without an LLC, they can reach into my business and take my assets. They can, in certain states, can actually foreclose on my membership interest in my LLC, which is ownership. So we want to make sure that there's a couple levels here. So number one, there is a ton of what we term weak states out there that allow foreclosure of your membership interest. So that's a lot of times why we attach weak state LLCs to strong state LLCs so that they can't take your membership interest. Number two is we do not want to have direct ownership of our business assets. And this can be anything from rental properties to other sole proprietor type businesses. We want to wrap an LLC around them so we have protection from outside liability or things that are happening outside of the business but could still affect the business. Next concept, or the other part of this, or the other side of the coin of this, is inside liability. So say if I have a business, or if I have even say a rental property and something happens on that property, that's happening inside of the box. So we take the same bulletproof scenario and we try to shoot that gun out to, shoot the gun from the inside of the box out, meaning something happened on one of my rental properties. Now they're trying to go after my personal assets. Okay, so same, like I mentioned, same concept with if I've got a bulletproof box and I'm trying to shoot out, the bullet no longer gets out either because it's going to be bulletproof on both sides. Now this is key because just quite frankly, when you deal with the outside public, you expose yourself to liability. Now that's okay, but we want to protect our personal assets from those business assets, as well as say if I have multiple properties, I want to protect one property from the other. So if I have something that happens on one property, I don't want then that person that got injured on that single property to be able to go after all of my properties. This actually happens, and we actually hear these stories quite often of where something happened on one property and some plaintiff attorney or somebody who was injured was able to come in and take all of their assets. So this is why we set up LLCs and corporations and other business entities, is to provide that separation and protect us from both inside and outside liability, so that in a worst case scenario, I may lose a box, but I'm not losing my whole, stack of Legos, if you will. So That's our Coffee with Carl for today. That's inside versus outside liability. As always, if you have additional questions, please feel free to give us a call or visit our website for your free consultation at andersonadvisors.com. I encourage you to take advantage of all the free content we put out there. Put out a lot of great content, and it's public service as far as I'm concerned. We're educating the masses, and we'd love to see you in one of our asset protection classes. So keep an eye out for when we come to your town. We're all over the United States. So until next time, thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you on the next Coffee with Carl.